Welcome to Whisperwood Stories. Today, we read 3 stories from r/shortscarystories. Let's begin. Our first story is from Simba the Savage. Resonance. Gone. All gone. What was I expecting? A shelf that looks like Santa's greatest haul. I sighed, my stomach protesting and growling. The shelves of this supermarket, like all of the others, had been picked clean. There wasn't even a bottle of water. I went outside, dejected, knowing I had to spend another day without food. My arms hung loosely at my sides, the bones visible through my skin. Hair rushed down my face, and I knew that I smelled bad. Personal hygiene was the least of my worries anyhow. Crude graffiti adorned the city walls. Chunks of skin and bits of legs and arms, still crusted with dried blood, littered the streets. It was obvious the horde had passed this way, and by the look of it, left no survivors behind. I plodded in the opposite direction, my eyes on the ground, hoping that someone dropped something they didn't notice. Then my boots stepped on something soft. Blood pooled out and ran downwards and into the ground like a little river. I bent down, my hands digging through the asphalt and the gravel. Then I found him. Another survivor. Severely injured by the looks of it, but cleverly hidden so the horde wouldn't notice him. His mouth opened wide with a soft moan and formed words. "Help. Get help," he whispered. I didn't reply, but instead quickly checked his pockets for anything of use. He had nothing on him. I sighed again, disgruntled. This day was getting worse and worse by the minute. Leaving him behind, there was no way I could help him now. I continued on. Then I heard it. The laughter. My hands scrambled to my pockets for my earplugs. But with a curse, I realized my stupidity. I had left them at my hideout. Memories suddenly came, exploding into my mind. Memories of my son's 5th birthday party, back when we were just a happy family. Memories of the wedding I had with my wife, our honeymoon. Happy, relaxing memories of things before this whole pandemic started. Then I started to laugh too. Laughed at all the good memories I once had. Laughed at the current situation that I found myself in and the desperation of it all. I laughed until my skin turned ashen. Laughed until the light went out of my eyes. Laughed until the real hunger pangs crept in. The ones demanding meat. Fresh meat. I looked back at the moaning survivor left behind. My sharp tongue clicked against my cracked lips. He looked awfully tasty. Our second story is from TheScribeOfTheDead. The Benefactor Scalpel. After weeks of cautious pursuit, she's finally within my grasp. She slouches at the end of the bar, her short red hair dampened by sweat. I approach her warily, for she is a nervous and exceedingly anxious woman, Claire. I engage her in simple conversation, prepared to charm her with casual references that echo the intimate minutiae of her life. In short, I know her better than she knows herself, and I prepared to use this to my advantage. Within an hour, she is smitten by this handsome stranger. Eventually, I'm able to discreetly drop a minuscule gelatin tablet into her drink. Soon, the effects of oncoming lethargy become apparent. Before we've reached my car, she is incoherent and malleable. By the time we've arrived at my home, she is completely unconscious. As she slumbers deeply upon a steel table, I quickly review my notes and begin to make my incisions. This shall be my greatest achievement yet. I shall accomplish what medical science has declared to be impossible. However, I will enjoy no accolades. I've become the enigmatic anomaly that inspires hatred and fear in the most powerful circles of modern medicine. The night gives way to dawn, and soon she will stir. The searchers are neat and barely noticeable. The procedure is an absolute success, and I'm elated with the results of my efforts. Now I must hasten to dispose of her before she awakens and discovers the startling truth. The next day, and 100 miles away, Claire awakens disoriented and groggy in her own bed. She attempts to sit upright, and a wave of nausea washes over her. She perceives a hastily scrawled note upon her bedside table. She reads it and begins to weep. She stumbles into the kitchen and swallows a single tablet from a nondescript bottle and washes it down with cranberry juice. She gathers her resolve and shakily makes an urgent phone call. A few hours later, she nervously meets with her physician, who immediately orders a battery of tests. She fears the worst, and by the look on his face, it seems that he might be in agreement. The next week is a blur of doctors, surgeons, and specialists. When she returns for her follow-up, she is stunned by her physician's revelation. Claire, I'm not sure how you're going to react with this news, but I'd like for you to remain calm, okay? My team and I have reviewed your case and we're utterly shocked, but genuinely pleased to say that your tumor is gone. Yes, we had previously determined that it was inoperable, but it appears that we were mistaken. Although we cannot condone the illegal and questionable actions of this mysterious renegade surgeon, we are confident that he has saved your life. Now, are you absolutely sure that you remember nothing of the man? She shakes her head and smiles softly as her eyes begin to moisten. Nothing at all, Doc. Nothing at all. Our last story is from Ashura. Squeeze. There is nothing worse than being awoken on an early Saturday morning to the sound of your neighbor drilling. I've been up all night playing a video game with my friends. Look, I'm in my 20s, I'm allowed to have a social life during these difficult times. And then exactly at 8:17 a.m., I hear the sound and I groan with irritation. It's not even like the kind of drilling that starts and stops. It's just constant. Like someone's fingers are on the trigger and they just aren't letting go. I lie there for a good 5 minutes trying to fall back asleep, reasoning that eventually it has to end. And then I gave up and went to the bathroom. The toilet flushes. I run the tap, but the sound of drilling returned every single time. It's like a perfect, constant whine, almost like it's directly next to my ear, yet muffled by the separation between our walls. I make breakfast. I turn on music. I figure, logically, that I can overpower this sound by applying my own noise. But oh no, that's not how it works apparently. It's not just a sound, it's an actual vibration. It's not so much that I can hear it at all times, but I can actually feel it as well. After an hour, I decided that enough is enough, and I leave my home. It's louder outside. No longer separated by an extra set of walls, I can hear it more plainly. My other neighbors are gathering outside too, wearing pajamas or robes in the early morning. It's the first time we've seen each other in person for a while, pandemics being what they are. What's he up to? I ask. Not sure, another neighbor replies. I wish he'd stop though. Yeah, me too. I get in my car and drive away. I spend the morning doing important things, and I figure around lunchtime, he'd at least either be done or one of my neighbors would have broken down the door and told him to knock it off. I see the ambulance. Uh-oh. What's up? I say to my neighbor, who looks crestfallen. There was a break-in. Oh? Is everyone okay? The look on his face said no. Damn, I say, stepping back. I didn't know my neighbors well, but I grieve somewhat and then ask, what was with all that drilling? My neighbor goes green. Oh my. What was it? He chokes. He had them bound and gagged. They were in a line, tied up. They could only move forward. They couldn't escape. I stared at him. I didn't get it. But, what was with the drilling? He made them walk. Into the... My neighbor placed his face into his hands. He made them walk. There was nothing worse than being awoken on an early Saturday morning to the sound of your neighbor drilling. Except, perhaps, somebody that's drilling your neighbors. Thank you for listening to Whisperwood Stories. If you enjoyed, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe down below. Do you have a story that you'd like me to read here? Consider commenting or sending it to whisperwoodsubmissions@gmail.com. The stories in this video were read and slightly altered with the author's permissions. Thank you again for listening, and be sure to check out the original Reddit posts. Don't let the shadows get too close.